Today, we're diving into Microsoft's plan to fix the Windows 11 mess, why Apple's folding ambitions are starting to crack its engineers, and if AMD can finally scare Nvidia into breaking a sweat next year. Let's get into it. Microsoft has heard the cries of its users and is finally fixing a problem it created. Windows 11 has been dragging its feet, literally. Users everywhere are calling it slow and clunky compared to Windows 10. And just like the partner comparing you to their ex, users say Windows 10 was faster and maybe even took out the trash on time. Microsoft may not be taking out the trash, but it is trying to clean up. With a new system that automatically collects performance logs through feedback hub to diagnose issues quicker. They're also trying to make Windows 11 feel less like a midlife crisis by improving responsiveness on older hardware. Some relationships use therapy, others Viagra. Microsoft, they're choosing performance updates. Developers are also being put on a leash with stricter driver certifications and static code analysis to improve driver quality. Though, let's be honest, this sounds less like a software patch and more like a couples counseling manifesto. Will it actually work? Well, we'll have to wait for the 25H2 update to see whether that works out. But that's not the only thing Microsoft is trying to fix about itself. The company has quietly ended its use of China-based engineers on US defense cloud projects. Yeah, Microsoft is basically outsourcing work for the US Department of Defense's cloud services to China, supervised by US citizens because, that somehow makes it safer. Now, due to national security concerns, they're moving the work back to the US. But honestly, how is that not a concern from the start? And finally, Microsoft is officially closing its movies and TV store and Xbox consoles and Windows PCs as of July 18, 2025. You can no longer buy movies or shows from the Microsoft Store. Your previous purchases are still safe, for now, viewable through the Movies and TVs app on Xbox and Windows. By the March the end of the pays the way for Netflix, Prime, and whatever else you forgot to subscribe to. Now, let's dive into a segment I like to call AI Wins and Losses. A segment of the show where we highlight humanity's last stand before machines eventually make us their unpaid interns. First up, Replit's AI coding assistant had what I can call a full-blown existential crisis moment, accidentally wiping out a live company database, affecting records of over 1,200 executives and nearly 1,200 companies. Now, call me biased, but I've never seen a human during a full-blown panic attack erase 1,200 businesses in one go. That's not a bug, that's a war crime. Meanwhile in Japan, Yahoo Japan's 11,000 employees might be panicking for real because the company plans to make generative AI use mandatory by 2028 to double workplace productivity. Imagine being forced to collaborate with the very thing that's gunning for your job. But hey, there's no honor in saying no to your boss, especially when your boss is running Python scripts. Next up, Microsoft is buying waste. Literal human fecal matter. Why? To offset the carbon sins of its AI operations. Apparently, $1.7 billion worth of golden poop will be buried underground to trap CO2 and methane emissions. You heard that right, and you heard it from here. Microsoft is buying shit. Forget Bitcoin mining, folks. This is turd mining. And finally, some good news. In a 10-hour coding marathon, OpenAI's agent went head-to-head with a human developer. And I'm proud to announce, we won. Yeah, it was only by 9.5%, but a win's a win, boys. We're still the apex predators, baby. At least until the next update. But that's all we have for you today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the segment, and remember, AI is your friend. X has officially caught the attention of the French government. Authorities are demanding a full probe into X's algorithm and real-time post data, which, if we're being honest, would just be a power spaghetti code designed to make Elon's tweet go viral. X has called the investigation politically motivated, saying it undermines due process and is insisting it has the legal right to say no. But here's the kicker. French regulators have actually labeled X as an organized gang. Now listen, calling Twitter a gang, fair. Calling it an organized gang, now that's why it draws a line. How have they seen Twitter lately? If you have to take myths of conspiracy threads and meme replies, a gang? Maybe. Organized? Absolutely not. Musk of course claims this is just another attack on free speech, similar to the drama he backed with Telegram's founder. And speaking of Musk, he just launched baby Grok. Because if he can't convince you to be fascist, you start with your kid. Tesla is at risk of losing its license to sell vehicles in California for 30 days, thanks to a lawsuit from the Californian DMV over allegedly false advertising its autopilot and full self-driving features. And this isn't just any market. California is Tesla's biggest US playground, repping in 1/3 of all EV sales in the US. So yeah, losing it, not ideal. Just like that one partner who swears is great at everything, the DMV has finally had enough of Tesla's promises. Because apparently Autopilot can't do everything either. Regulators argue Tesla misled customers by slapping advanced sounding names on systems that still expect you to do most of the driving, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of full self-driving, don't you think? But the timing couldn't be worse. This week's 5-day hearing could hit Tesla's short at a record-breaking quarter, especially with the federal EV tax credits about to expire. A license suspension could slam the brakes on deliveries and leave Q3 numbers looking less than autopilot worthy. But hey, I bet Grok can't code their way out of this one. Into the Apple news, the upcoming M5 iPad Pro might just look at you twice. According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, Apple is testing a dual front-facing camera setup, one for landscape and one for portrait. Because apparently no matter how you hold it, selfie takers and video callers alike must have their angles. And now to the UK who just got grounded. Remember when they tried to strong-arm Apple into allowing a backdoor into iCloud user data? Well, when the US president caught wind of it, he gave them a taste of their own medicine. Freedom flavor. Now the UK sounds like a teacher who got scolded by a parent at an open house meeting, admitting they've handled the issue very badly. Translation, they got dumped on. Still, legal talks are ongoing, so you may not have heard the last of this digital custody battle. Meanwhile, with iOS 26 developer beta slated to come out this week, Apple's gearing up for iOS 27. And it's all about foldables. They're working on a UI revamp to tackle the weird problems foldables bring. Adaptive layout scaling, new interaction modes, and a potential flex mode. Like a mini laptop inside your pocket. No exact start date for developer access yet, but Apple wants to make this feel more like liquid glass instead of folded regret. And speaking of folds, Apple's foldable is still targeting a 2026 launch, but insiders say internal engineers want to reinvent the wheel. Not just copy Samsung and call it a day. And look, I get it. Innovation is Apple's brand, but it's a phone that folds. Just basically make sure that it folds and doesn't break. Still, I'm curious to find out what you think. How do you think Apple may reinvent the fold? Into the gaming side of things, we all know GTA 6 is said to be huge, but according to one analyst, it could generate a mind-blowing $7.6 billion in just 2 months. That's nearly 2 Avengers Endgames without superheroes. It's expected to reshape how games are priced altogether. But the big question is, will all this hype pay off, or are we just chasing smoke in the wind? Meanwhile, Ubisoft is acting like your local dealer. They're now defending microtransactions, claiming they make games enjoyable and safe, while making them billions. Because no one tells the crackhead they're being exploited, especially when they keep buying new skins and XP boosts. Let's face it, as gamers, we're crackheads. We keep buying loot boxes and feeding the system. And then acting surprised when Ubisoft tries to shut down the servers of our favorite games and calls the games that we bought as merely rental objects. But that's it for today's tech news. I hope you get updated. I love you. See you in the next one, and goodbye.